Hello, hello, and welcome to For Book's Sake. I am Heather Roberts.
And I am a very nervous Veronica Adams this morning.
We're with 1852 Media, and we are going to be talking about current booktok drama today, okay? And Veronica's nervous because I asked her if she had heard about a certain piece of booktok drama,
Yes,
and she
I
said
have
she had
not.
not.
I
She
have
knows
not.
nothing about it. And so I thought it'd be a little bit more fun instead of prepping her of what I wanted to talk about to just talk about it and get Veronica's true reaction.
Yes, yes, you guys are going to get the unfiltered response live right now
Yes.
on the podcast.
Okay. So this starts with a mediocre white man on Book Talk, okay?
Okay.
So some of this is going to be my opinion touched into the facts, okay?
Well,
You know.
listen, there are plenty of mediocre men of all colors, but white
Yes.
specifically, who've enjoyed privilege for quite a while.
Yes.
That's an
So
editorialization that sometimes is well deserved.
So this man, his name is Nate Lemcke,
Okay.
Lemcke. I don't know how to
Okay.
pronounce that appropriately. So
Our new friend Nate.
our new friend Nate.
Got
Okay.
it. Okay.
So Nate wrote a book called A Manic Pixie E-Girl. Okay.
Okay.
Manic Pixie E-Girl. It is apparently marketed towards women. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read the blurb for you. Manic Pixie E-Girl is a deep dive into the damaging world of hypersexualized online environments. With honesty, wit, and compassion, I'm going to call it Lemke. Lemke explores the crippling effects of growing up with unrestricted internet access. Much like the iconic manic pixie dream girl trope itself, this narrative unveils a disconcerting countless men raised on the internet. By the way, the sentence doesn't make sense, so I'm just going to read it as it goes through. And okay, much like the iconic manic pixie dream girl trope itself, this narrative unveils a disconcerting countless men raised on the internet find themselves trapped in a paradigm where they perceive women as nothing more than idealized objects of desire, tragically overlooking their fundamental humanity. If we could stop right there, there's a lot of word salad that didn't quite.
What in the condescending pseudo intellectual batshit crazy was that?
Yeah, there's more. Okay. The story centers around the troubled and perverse mind of Alden Goodnight, an internet addicted loner, as he struggles to overcome the symptoms of a debilitating mental illness. With the help of a well intentioned, if slightly misguided therapist, he embarks on a chaotic and ultimately transformative journey to fully embrace all of his addictions in an effort to rid himself of them forever. Prescient, timely, and utterly captivating, Manic Pixie E-Girl is a literary tour de force that explores trauma, addiction, and the yearning for intimacy in the digital age.
Tell me you wanted to be on the New York Times bestseller list but couldn't get a book deal without telling me you wanted to be on the New York Times bestseller
Oh my
list
God.
without having a book deal.
I can't believe you said that because he then starts a TikTok campaign where he said that he's going to read a book a day by a female author until he gets on the New York Times bestseller list.
I love that for him.
So he is reading a book a day by a
Uh-huh.
female author because he doesn't generally read books written by women.
But he's writing books for women.
Correct. So he doesn't usually read that. That's not something he does.
What in what?
But he now is going to read a book a day by a woman and then post about it
How generous
in,
of him.
in order to, get his book on the New York Times bestseller list. And you're thinking to yourself, what books is he going to platform, right?
Yes.
What books is he going to read with that type of a manic pixie e-girl?
Yeah, right. Right.
One of them is The Handmaid's Tale.
Shut the fuck up. I'm
Because,
sorry, for those of you who didn't hear me just whisper, I said shut the fuck up because like holy
so let me play you
Uh-huh.
let me play you his original. Well, he wrote a bunch of what he wrote. He reviewed these books 7 days, and then he did like this weekly recap,
Yeah.
right? And then he did his response to the recent book talk drama. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out which one should which one? Which one should I play first? I'll do the response to the book talk drama because I think I've
Yeah.
gotten you caught up.
Yeah.
But by the way, so the books that he read included The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, Bunny, The Handmaid's Tale, My Year of Rest and Relaxation, The Candy House, To the Lighthouse, and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Okay.
This is some crazy performative bullshit.
Yes. So let's go, Nate. There we go. This is so funny. There's several videos, but let's go with this one. Book Talk is not a safe place for authors. Is that? Did he delete a video?
Oh, of
Day 8.
course he did.
Hold on, because it's different on my phone than it is on my computer right now. And I'm trying to figure out. We got day 7. We got the weekly recap. And then he has day 8, Tender as the Flesh, which is on my phone, but not on my computer.
Fascinating.
Oh, he has it pinned. Okay. Okay.
It's in a different place when you're looking at it
Yeah.
on desktop.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna play this.
When I made my first post, I said that this book was like Mean Girls meets Dark Academia. Little did I know the real Mean Girls were actually right here on Book Talk. A week ago, I set out to read a book a day till my book got on the New York Times bestsellers list. And to make it a little more interesting, I was going to try and read only books written by women authors. You see, in the past, I realized I had been drawn primarily to books written by authors of my own gender. So naturally, I wanted to switch things up a little bit. I honestly just noticed a personal blind spot and wanted to correct it. But some people did not like that. Despite an overwhelmingly positive response from most of Book Talk, a few people decided to interpret what I was doing in the least charitable way possible. They called me an incel. They called me a pick-me. They tracked down my book on Goodreads and gave it bad reviews without even reading it. And they even went so far as to accuse me of exploiting women authors. And that one hit hard because that certainly wasn't my intention when I started this project. Yes, I was trying to promote my book, but also I just honestly wanted to read more books written by women, and I thought this was a good place to start.
No.
So what do you think? Was I exploiting women authors? And if so, what can I do to fix it?
What can I do to fix it? Sure.
Please
That's
continue
exactly
to engage with my content while I take up space in an area of social media that really isn't intended for me.
right. And let's talk about this as a marketing campaign, right?
Right.
He is using women. He's using women.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, not all of his book reviews, because I went back and watched the videos, not all of the reviews on the books are positive. Okay.
Of course they aren't. I mean, not every book is for everybody, but also like you're trying. It's very clear here that the platforming female authors is just to benefit him in some very direct way.
It's performative.
Exactly.
Because it's like, I'm going to platform these already large female authors that I've never heard of in order to promote my own book.
Right.
Which we will get to his book here in a moment. But yeah, it's wild. So then there's another one called Book Talk is not a safe place for authors. Okay, so let's listen to this one.
We need to talk about a dangerous new trend that's emerging on Book Talk. Recently, a group of book talkers decided amongst themselves that I was a misogynist and went out of their way to track down my book on Goodreads and leave it horrible reviews, without even reading it. It would be one thing if they actually read my book and didn't like it. That's fine, I respect that. My book's not for everybody. But I watched as their mean little comments popped up on TikTok, and then just moments later, a bad review would show up on Goodreads. From someone with the exact same profile picture. And unless they read my entire book in the time it takes me to switch apps, I don't think they actually read it. To leave a book a bad review without actually reading it just feels wrong. It feels dirty. And definitely not something I would expect from booktok. And as for the claims that my book is somehow misogynist, my book is about the damaging effects of growing up in hypersexualized online environments. I chose the title Manic Pixie E-Girl because much like the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope itself, many men who struggle with porn addiction come to view women as idealized objects of desire rather than recognizing their inherent humanity. And in many ways, this book is about my own struggle with addiction and my healing journey from it. So it feels especially...
There it is!
There it is!
...calling it misogynist without actually reading it. Look, I get it. It's a difficult issue. But by canceling a book you haven't read, you not only erode the trust that readers have with websites like Goodreads, you also do irrevocable damage to books that might actually have something good to say if you just took the time to read them. We need to talk...
I'm so sick of men policing.
So sick of men. We can just...
Actually, yeah. Can we just... Full disclosure, I'm a cishet woman in a cishet marriage with a son, but also I'm sick of men.
Same.
Period.
Same. Same.
Oh my God. So, you know what this reminds me of?
Sure.
There are some content creators in like the feminist domestic space, right? So, there's some really big name content creators on TikTok who have these awesome platforms talking about very specific women's issues.
Yes.
And there are some men who have come into that space and have started making like pseudo-psychological reflective content as well about perhaps their past experiences not being the most supportive partner in a domestic sense or whatever, right? Like they are trying to cash in on and build platforms in this space with the male-centered voice. That's exactly what's happening here.
100% what's happening.
Exactly what's happening here.
And apparently, I've seen some TikToks of a person, like I saw a girl who was like, no, I really did read it. Like I read the whole fucking thing. And it was awful. Like it was, apparently the main character, the hero, is 33 years old. And
Holden
then
Caulfield or whatever his name was.
Right. And then the heroine is like a 19-year-old college student who is constantly in pigtails. And it's like this age gap, like, you know, little girl, daddy romance-y sort of thing, sprinkled in with a lot of misogyny, slut shaming, and just stuff. So there's this girl named Alyssa who, you know, took one for the team and read the book for us.
Bless her.
Bless her. And Alyssa then not only did that, but then on Goodreads, you can, you know, put your updates in, like while you're, you know, what percentage the way you are through.
Right.
And she did that too. She's truly doing the Lord's work here. Okay. And there are just some fascinating quotes in here. Like just...
Well, I mean, he says it himself in that last TikTok that she played the audio for. Like, he had his own struggles with a hyper-sexualized life online, and he's now, I guess, exercising those demons via this particular book.
Yeah.
And marketing it in a very tasteless way.
I mean, there's a quote from the book. In order to become fully integrated, women must move from the maiden phase or the little girl phase, as I like to call
Don't tell me how to...
into their whore phase. It is the next step in your spiritual evolution.
What?
And there's another quote. I liked hanging out with Abby because she was the least judgmental person I knew. It felt like my whole life somebody was always judging me. And Alyssa's comment to that is, please go to therapy.
Honestly, this sounds like a classic case scenario where someone definitely needed a therapist and instead they wrote a book and now they're like, I mean, okay, you write a book, you're going to try and make money off of it. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you? I mean,
yeah.
There are some people who have written manuscripts that never see the light of day. But beyond that, right, if your intention is to enter the self-publishing space and become a writer, have a business writing, you're going to publish it, you're going to market it. But like everything about this is just so gross.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It's gross. Let's see. Here's one. I'm starting a cult, she says. The Esoteric Guild of Interdimensional Reincarnating Liberated Sluts. E-girls for short. So that's what E-girl stands for. The Esoteric Guild of Interdimensional Reincarnating Liberated Sluts. Abby believes that by posting your face online covered in cum for the world to see, you
does
free
anybody
yourself
know if
from...
Nate's mom is okay? Like, honestly, does anybody know if Nate's mom is okay? Has anyone checked on
Has
this man's
anyone
mother?
checked on the women in this man's life?
Seriously. Like, does he have a partner, a girlfriend, a wife? Like,
I mean, it's just so much. So, like, the book itself, I understand now after reading these quotes, right?
yeah.
Why he's being called an incel. Like, I understand. Because at first I was like, okay, well, he's doing
That's
a really
extreme.
shitty. Yeah, it's extreme. Yeah. He's doing a really shitty marketing move, right? Like, because we can all agree that by platforming women authors, writing a book about marketed towards people that you don't understand is dumb. Number two,
that was misstep number one for sure.
Misstep number one. Number two, then going on the internet and platforming large authors in attempt to ride upon their coattails, large female authors whom you've never read before. Like,
I don't think
there's
Sylvia Plath and Margaret Atwood need this man's help in any way, shape, or form.
No. And to be like, I don't read books written by women, but I wrote one for women. And so I'm going to now platform that is also a massive misstep. But then I was like, wow, this is a really intense reaction. And then I started reading these highlights and I was like, oh, I see why. Oh, apparently on Google, which I have not done, full disclosure, you can go read like a preview of the title on Google Books. So if you're interested, you can go do that.
My blood pressure is high enough as it is.
Here's a quote that's gonna throw your blood pressure.
Oh,
okay?
Great.
I'm scrolling through these. I have not read all of these quotes, okay? Because every day more girls show up on our doorstep in mini skirts and pigtails with little black E's drawn beneath their eyes. Girls who want to leave their old selves behind and step into their slut era. This one's lovely. Take these ingredients, mix them together in the proper proportions, and you, my friend, have just made the holy grail of cum production. A supplement slurry guaranteed to maximize the volume of seminal output. Oh my God, I want to vomit. Like, is there... Ugh. What? She goes, okay, the quote is, please, it's a non-thought for a moment. It's about a girl. I need to save her. And her comment is, don't save her. She's fine. Keep walking. We need to be friends. That's hilarious.
I'm one of those people that's like hypersensitive to bodily fluid stuff. So like, oh my God. Ooh. Everything about this is tasteless. Everything.
It's so, this is Nate.
For real though, Nate, like some of the feedback you're getting, even from the cyberbullies, and listen, I'm going to give the man credit. There is a culture of cyberbullying that does exist, I think, on all social spaces, including in the book world. However, a lot of this critical feedback is legit, my man. And you need to like a tree in the storm, you need to kind of try and absorb some of this because there's something here for you to learn from this experience. And it's not what you think it is.
Right. And here's the other thing. I do not care if men write a romance novel or write a book marketed towards women. Obviously, my husband wrote erotic romances.
Yes.
I am in support of that.
Sure.
That is not what this is. It's not because he happens to be a man. It's because he happens to be a man, but then enters the space without any knowledge of this space
Enters the space in a condescending, patronizing
way.
Anti-feminist, like I mean, it is misogyny. It's misogyny.
Yeah. It's what he thinks women want, which is, my guy, not what women want.
No.
It's actually the opposite thereof. And he comes in with the confidence. This is what we're talking about this is why I said a mediocre white man at the beginning.
Yes.
Because this is what we're talking about, is a mediocre white man, just a white dude who's middle-aged, whatever, coming into a space in which he knows nothing about and saying things with his whole chest like he's absolutely correct. Yes. And then flabbergasted when he gets pushed back upon it. Not only flabbergasted, but then calls out these people who are trying to, some of which, very respectfully, I might add, trying to call him out on his bullshit. And suddenly now they're the mean girls. Now they're the ones that are, he's now the victim.
The hallmark of the mediocre misogynistic man is he can dish it out because he knows what's best for everybody, but he can't take it when it's time to look at the critical information related to him.
Correct.
That is literally step number one. I can dish it out, but I can't take it. Here, ladies, here is 300-page tome. I'm sorry. It's offensive.
It's offensive. And so if anybody's questioning, if you happen to be of the male gender and you are questioning, why do women, dislike when men do these? This is why. We are trying to give you as many reasons as possible. It's not that we dislike men in general, right? Like, obviously, we are married to men. We have male children. Like, we're trying to raise our children in a way that recognizes these things.
Yeah.
But not this kind. We don't like
my guy.
Kind.
My father was born in 1943. Okay, this man is a member of the silent generation. He is 80 goddamn years old, and he has never projected this much misogyny on me in the almost 40 years I have known him. Okay, you don't have to be this.
It's just the condescension for me. It really is. It's the condescension.
This little nugget that you are just better and you know better. And I'm sorry, anyone who uses the word prescient in their synopsis is
and tour de force.
My God.
I was like, okay, all right. Which is
Could
why
you please be more pretentious on top of being just an absolute asshat?
Which is why I literally nearly died when you said, tell me you want to be on the New York Times bestseller list.
It's obvious.
Because, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, you called it right out. She truly had no idea what I was talking about, by the way.
It reminds me of chess club. There was a guy we went to college with. You may not remember this. We had several government classes with him. Okay. He was always buttoned up, polo shirt, sweater vest. I called him chess club.
Okay.
Along with a couple of our other girlfriends, because he just walked around in this world of pretension. He was better than everyone else. And he was, just Mr. This guy, Nate here, gives chess club vibes.
Was his first name Mark?
I don't remember.
You just remember his name's
No, it wasn't Mark. It was not Mark.
It was not Mark.
It was not Mark.
All right.
I know who you're thinking of. No, it was not Mark. But
good guess though, right? I mean,
we went to a really small university though. You're pulling from a limited pool of people, right?
I am.
Side note, hope you're doing well, chess club. But anyway.
And Mark.
Not to mention the deacon. Totally different story. This is just the worst parts of the patriarchy all rolled into one little package. Named Nate. And
Did Nate write anything else? I haven't even gone back and looked. Let's see.
I'm glad you surprised me with this one because
it's a fun one, right? Wow. His Goodreads photo is him shirtless. I can't.
Is he holding up a fish?
He is not, but he's outdoors and shirtless.
All right.
Okay.
He's one fishing trip away from being a dating website nightmare too.
He is of the genre.
Of course he's shirtless in his profile picture, Heather. Yeah. He's marketing to women.
I know.
He wants to be the cover model hero that all of our authors like to put on their book covers.
Yes, I know.
He thinks he's figured out the formula.
Oh my God. So he
Lord, give me strength.
his genre that he chose because Goodreads, the author has to choose which genre they write in, right?
Yes.
Contemporary, literary fiction, and satire. So, like, is this all satire just to get his name up there? Like, now I have to wonder.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Now I have to wonder. And then he has his website as his Instagram, which his handle is Dark Nate of the Soul.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is when this fully backfires on him, he's going to come out and say that he was just trolling the ladies of Book Talk. And that we reacted in a predictable way and did all of these bad lady things that we're not supposed to do in the name of protecting our peace and our spaces.
Right.
Like, that's absolutely his backup plan here.
Oh,
no doubt about it. You
Someone,
weren't smart enough to see the joke.
Someone goes, fun fact, your Instagram is just as disgusting as your book.
Keep giving it to him, ladies.
Oh, God almighty.
Oh
my God. Yeah, his Instagram is not great.
I bought a refrigerator magnet recently that said men should be grateful, women only want equality and not revenge.
Oh my God, true story.
And I'm going to stand by that until the day I die. Because that's literally all it is. It just
yeah.
I get it. The system was built by your predecessors to serve you and to subjugate us, but like that ain't the way we're doing it now, my guys. We're
it's just not
it that way.
You know, our entire culture has really shifted in the past 5 years and I'm thrilled about it, right? Like it is now a place where even I was watching some commentary this morning about like how we people were canceling Oprah. Like I hate the word canceling, but like calling her holding her accountable
for her bad behavior
for her tone deaf.
So far, she's gotten so far from her roots, she's forgotten what it's like to be a normal person, even though she started out in a really terrible place. Like,
right, her tone deaf actions. And the fact that we as a society, that never would have happened before, calling out Oprah.
No,
like
never.
Fucking Oprah, you know?
She's a national treasure.
Yeah. And
it'd be like trying to hold Dolly Parton accountable for something. First of all, I can't conceive of Dolly Parton doing anything that would require holding her accountable. But beyond that, like, we just wouldn't do it.
Right.
Now, listen.
I'm sorry. I just read a review. It's a
do enlighten us, Heather. If it was good enough to make you laugh, we need to share it with the class.
Okay, the title of the review is like a boring Chuck Palahniuk if he could write. Or if he couldn't write. And then the actual content of the review is, if you've never read another book before, this book is probably fine. Hold on. Oh my God, breathe, Heather. I'm dying. Okay.
Is there anything better than the consequences of your actions?
There really isn't. I mean, there really isn't. And that's the whole thing here. People can say, oh, we're being mean girls. No, we're really not. This is commentary upon somebody acting poorly on the internet. And that's what we're doing. We are reacting to what was put in front of us.
Yes.
We did not create this marketing scheme. If any author would have come to us and said, do you think this is a good idea? We would have been like, hell to the fuck no.
And also, we don't want to be associated with it because like it's just not. This is so icky and untoward and just wrong.
Like, that is not going to land how you think it's going to land.
Nope.
And you can tell that he had absolutely no one in his life that he ran this by, if he did run it by anybody, who understood the market. His fantasy
football team, probably.
Right. Who understood the industry in which he was trying to promote to.
Yeah.
Absolutely no one. So, you know, you get what you get when you come up with ideas like these. And then the fact that he's doubled down multiple times, right? You know, and become the victim in this scenario is just
borderline
absolutely
narcissistic.
Wild. Yeah. And he's probably secretly reveling in the fact that his views, he's now has a shit ton of views.
Sure.
His ranking on Amazon is 28,000 on the ebook, which is probably higher than it's ever been before because people out of pure curiosity.
28,000?
Yeah.
All of this drama and it's only 28,000 in the Amazon store?
Well, that's higher than I thought it would be, but people out of pure curiosity will go and purchase a book just to,
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. I thought this guy was like, I don't know. There are so many provocateurs out there, right?
Yeah.
So I just assumed that, like,
yeah.
Damn, Nate, this isn't even successful.
Oh, no. 28,000 is like...
You put $20 a day in Facebook ads on a book and get it to 28,000. Like, you didn't need to be an asshole to do this.
Right. 28,000 gets you really nowhere. I mean, that's like, what, a couple books a day?
I'm almost disappointed. Like, I get why there's drama, but also, like, really, this is the best he could do with all of this tone deafness?
Yeah, this is called what? Being ratioed, I would call it, as the kids say. Because he has over...
I don't know any slang yet. My kid is still in preschool.
Well, let me introduce you to the term being ratioed.
Please teach me some Gen Z stuff so that when it's time for me to start learning Gen Alpha stuff, I can do it.
So being ratioed. So, like, for example, his TikTok has like 50,000 views. Yeah. And how many likes does it have? So if like you go to, where's his page? His TikTok page. Come on. So the one TikTok, my response to the recent booktok drama, has 50,000 views and 915 likes. Okay. So out of 50,000 views, 915 likes, 1,600 comments. 1,600 comments. That is called...
So this portion of the strategy is working as intended.
Yes, but that's what's called being ratioed. When you have more comments and then likes, number one.
Makes sense.
Yes. And more views than, because that's what, 915 out of 50,000.
Yeah.
Is 50,000 divided by, let's say, I could do 915. Oh, shoot. It's the other way. This is why I went into the law. Divided by 50,000
Not the old joke. The only lawyers that are good at math are tax lawyers.
Yeah, 1.8%. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
of
roughly.
People that saw his TikTok that liked it.
1,000 times 50 is 50,000.
Yeah.
So
like 2%. A little, yeah, exactly.
2%, just shy of 2%.
And that is what's called being ratioed, when your view count is higher.
I now know what ratioed means. Thank you.
And it's hilarious.
I'd love to see that that's happening to Nate. Although he's still getting engagement, which means the algorithm will continue putting his books in the booktok FYP feed for most of us. Not me yet, thank God, but also...
Well, now that we've had this conversation, all the videos will start popping up in your FYP.
I'm sure, yeah, there's no doubt my phone's been listening to us this whole time.
But you'll see, a lot of creators really, oh my God, there was this one creator that I will have to send it to you. She was like, she did a whole parody on it and was like, I'm going to read a book a day by a male author until my book gets on the New York Times bestseller list. And she's like,
I wish we could recruit some of the most protective authors in Romancelandia to do this as a farce. I have one person in mind right now. I'm sure you know exactly who I'm thinking of. Who could just sit in condescension and read all the male written romances. Like, not that there's anything wrong with them, but like...
There are some that are problematic. There's some that are great. Yeah. And I think the thing is, if a man comes into a predominantly female space that has been created for women, by women.
Yes.
You just need to understand that, right? Like, you need to respect that and understand it and treat it with the due respect it deserves and not condescension. Don't come into this space and be like, I can do this so much better than you.
Or I can manipulate what you've built for yourselves to benefit me and not add any value for the rest of you.
Right. Like, it's totally valid to want to write a romance and to market it towards women. That's fine.
And
You can do
I
that.
think we should be very clear that we have nothing against that. And, you know, like you
No.
said before, we're very supportive of male authors, perhaps more supportive of men writing than many other people in the industry are. This can
Correct.
be a cliquey community. Romance authors, there are many women who look at men in this particular genre and just say, you shouldn't be here.
Right. And, I don't like that. I
Me
understand
either.
where they're coming from, but I don't like that. And I think that part of the reason why I don't like that is because, I mean, maybe you and I share this opinion because of this reason, but I went into a predominantly male, traditionally male career,
Yes.
and I felt like I shouldn't be there. And
Yeah.
I was, often mistaken for the assistant
The
or the
paralegal.
paralegal or what have you when I was practicing law.
Girl, let me tell you about the 30 seconds on being a lawyer in the South, okay?
Yeah.
First and foremost, when I graduated, we were told very certainly, make sure you're always in a dress or a skirt and make sure you're
Yeah.
always wearing hose. Okay, first of all, like policed from the get-go, like no pantsuits,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I guarantee you 99 times out of 100, if I'm in a hearing with opposing counsel and the other attorney is a man, the judge, male or female, assigns me with all of the administrative work following up that hearing. I'm to draft the order.
The
or
order.
I am to get with the court's assistant and schedule the next hearing. Like all of the
Yeah.
administrative stuff was my responsibility as the only female attorney in the hearing.
Yeah.
100%
100%.
male dominated and still very sexist field in a lot of places.
In a lot of places. When I went to the Eastern Shore of Maryland to go to a hearing, I absolutely had to wear a skirt suit. Period.
Yep.
Period.
I forget. South of Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
I think of Maryland and I'm like mid-Atlantic. No, you guys are technically south.
Now, not
But,
everywhere in Maryland was
Right.
that, necessary.
Right.
Like that wasn't always necessary.
Right.
But if I was going to certain parts, I knew that if I
Mhm.
wanted to get any type of respect at all,
Yeah.
which is wild to think about, by the way, if I wanted to be treated seriously by the court,
Uh-huh.
I had to wear a skirt suit and pantyhose and the whole bit and act,
Yep.
Accordingly. And it's just, there are a lot, and people can be like, oh, that's so unfair. You shouldn't have had to do that or whatever. Well, you have to make choices, right? Do you want the best outcome for your client, or do you want to fight against a system that is going to crush you
Right.
in the very moment in which you are in? So we can fight these things from the outside, but when you're in the moment, you're going to lose, and it doesn't benefit you or the client if you
Right.
don't acquiesce to the moment. So you have to fight them in a different way than, just bucking the system.
Unfortunately, yeah, there is a certain amount of game playing that you have to acquiesce to and participate in order to get the best result for your client.
And so, we can have tons of conversations about that sort of thing. But so
that's the kind of thing that makes a lot of women authors very protective of the romance space, though, is that it's literally from the dawn of time system of suppression and oppression of women, period.
Right. And that's why there's a lot of people who say, like, and I generally agree with this, that we are the oppressed, right? So the oppressed we are not becoming the oppressed by policing or calling out or holding accountable, the oppressors coming into our space and trying to reiterate that type of oppression again.
Right.
And so I absolutely understand that where women are saying, like, who've been in this industry, who have the opinion that they don't like, when men come into this industry.
Men writing. Yeah.
And that's often because it usually looks like this. It usually looks like this.
Right.
99% of the time. Or it looks like a male that comes into the romance industry and uses a female pen name and does it in that way and basically cons women into writing, and listen, women
that has predatory vibes. Now it may have just been a marketing tactic that was used by publishing houses in the I don't know 70s and 80s or whatever, but like also now it's very predatory because of how liberating the explosion of the genre of romance has been for women hmm, that's a really complicated, complex, layered
It is
situation.
nuanced. It is
Very,
nuanced.
very.
I'm not saying in every circumstance it's bad, but I've seen enough where it's happened where it is bad. And that's just like this situation. So, when it is we'll just call it a touchy subject, okay? It is a very, very touchy subject. And if not done correctly, if not done with good intentions and done well and with respect, this is exactly the response that you can expect.
Yes. Yes.
And you need to come into it with that knowledge. And this person, Nate, my guy, did not, had none of that knowledge. So it's just I had to share this book talk drama with you today.
Fantastic.
Because
and
it really, I think there's a good lesson to come out of all of this, and that we've touched on briefly, but just to reiterate, understand the genre in which you're writing, understand your audience.
I was thinking about that while you were explaining a lot of this to me. If he had chosen to write this in a different way, if it had been less about disgusting sexual content. I mean, like, there's erotica, and then there's like the shock content. Some of this stuff sounds like it is literally just shock content. It's not even supposed to be erotic. But that being said, if he had picked something else in terms of how he was setting up the genre of the plot for all of this, right? Like, fit different peg, right? Square peg, square hole, round peg, round hole. Pick a different genre, market this slightly differently. He could have entered the book talk space in a non-offensive way.
Right.
And actually utilize the platform and the option of creating and sharing content until you hit virality to actually sell a book, and maybe even backdoor his way into some sort of post-publishing traditional deal where he sells his rights to a distributor or one of the big five's imprints and, actually does end up on the New York Times bestseller list.
Well, and let's just talk about this for a minute, because his goal of ending up on the New York Times bestseller list, I believe, falls flat also from a technical point of view, in so much that I highly doubt that he's set up with distribution to be able to actually sell, even if his book was good.
I'd be shocked if he even knew he needed to do that.
Right. This is my point. Like, he does not. This is somebody who's like, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to, get on the New York Times bestseller list without any understanding of the industry at all. Like, to get on the New York Times bestseller list, you have to be distributed in a variety of physical locations across the United States. Independent booksellers, large booksellers. You have to sell a certain amount. And then the New York Times bestseller people will like shake the magic 8 ball and decide if you're going to be on the list or not, because book sales are not always indicative of actually being on the list.
The list is 100% curated, and it's based on whatever the intelligentsia thinks needs to be platformed.
Correct. So simply by getting the book sales, even if he had done it in the correct way, which I can pretty much guarantee he probably didn't. I'm taking a guess here. Wild stab
based on all of the other missteps here. Yeah. I think it's a reasonable assumption.
So his goal itself isn't even available to him in the current setup in which he is. So that just...
it's funny. He reminds me of like the biohackers, the people who are always like constantly looking for ways to change sleep routines and your consumption of vitamins and minerals and your diet and exercise routines. And like you lift on, you power lift during the full moon, and you take these herbs from Eastern medicine on, the autumnal equinox, whatever. And of course I'm being glib and a little bit disrespectful in my description for hyperbole's sake, but also like, he looks at this and he goes, I'm just going to basically do the biohack of self-publishing and using BookTok to create a bestseller and to make money. But he didn't do a very good job of it.
No.
Like, not even a little bit.
No.
I'm sorry. I am stuck on the number 28,000.
28,000 of the ebook. The paperback is at 128K on the Zon.
There is no way this man has a distribution agreement that's going to get him anywhere close. He's not even in the state of New York. Not like.
No. Sure isn't.
Oh,
Sure
mate.
is not.
And
yeah.
he wasted his use of prescient. He wasted it.
Yeah, 132,000. I don't know what I just said, but 132,000. Publisher is independently published.
Mm-hmm.
Like my guy. That's not what you put
No
there.
publishing company, no business, just independently published.
It literally says independently published. That is not what you put in that space. In that space, you put.
I mean, a lot of people who don't know, that's what they do.
Oh my God. Well, they just leave it blank and then it comes up as like Amazon. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what you're supposed to do.
He filled it out.
He filled it out.
While he was hacking the booktok machine.
I'm like knocking things over.
Why couldn't he have just written some sort of like procedural crime thriller with like a buxomy heroine who still looks a little bit like an e-girl, even though she's now in her early 30s and needs to be settling down before she ends up alone with cats for the rest of her life? Like, this is so gross. So gross.
It's gross. The whole thing is gross. And it just smacks of somebody who doesn't understand what he's doing in the industry and suddenly thinks that he can just write a book and make his way
and then talk down to everybody about how well it's not being received because it's disrespectful. And the way he's using the booktok space is disrespectful.
This book came out in June, by the way. June 19th.
It took him this long to create this mess.
Mm-hmm. He just recently created this mess. Yeah.
Nate.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yuppers.
The book world has already forgotten about you, my man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go on to the next thing. And I mean, we won't forget because one thing that the romance community has is a long memory. Okay. That is one thing.
Girl, you are not lying about that.
That booktok and the book world has long memory. Very long memory. And people try to reinvent themselves and come back as like other names and immediately is caught. It is amazing to me. It is.
Like how quickly someone's writing style can be identified or how quickly someone in their inner circle will out them.
Yup.
Yeah.
It's crazy. In a good way, I think. It continues to hold people accountable.
There have been no shortage of drama over the years. Plagiarists, people faking their own deaths, people on the run from the law, trademark copyright disputes. Like the list goes on and on and on.
People just generally behaving badly.
But see, here's the thing. Nate is hurting men in this space.
Yeah, he is actually. He's doing a great disservice to men in this space.
He obviously does not care.
Sure.
But also, like, this is...
Yeah.
I mean, it borders on misandry in a way. Like, he is intentionally inflicting pain in a way that's going to make it harder for men who write well and are good members of the community to participate and be received.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I know.
This was fun. I'm not nervous anymore.
Yeah. I thought that you'd enjoy. We should do this.
I need a drink and it's only 11 o'clock.
I know. Well, let me talk briefly. I know we've been talking forever, but I went to a book signing event this past weekend.
Yes, you did.
And, if you are a newer author and you are looking to get into a book signing event, this is a great opportunity for you because this event really does cater to newer authors. Oftentimes we call them baby authors in the industry, and that's not in a condescending way. It's more of an endearing way that they are called that.
We love baby authors.
So If you are a baby author and you want to go to a book signing event, the Getting Witchy with It book signing event in Salem, Massachusetts. Well, it's actually in Peabody, Massachusetts, which I learned the pronunciation of. Peabody. I learned the pronunciation of it before I went because I was at the gas station talking to the people at the gas station that I frequent. I live in a very small town. Okay. So like they know who I am. And I was like, yeah, I was getting some snacks and stuff for the road trip. And I told them that I was going to a book signing. I would like a work thing in Peabody, Massachusetts. And the guy's like, that's not how you say that. And I was like, how do I say that? He said, Peabody. And I was like, oh, well, thank you for telling me that before I went there and sounded like a complete moron to everybody who's there. So things I learned.
You call it Peabody and you're the moron.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
no comment.
I live in a town that should be pronounced one way and is pronounced a different way.
The way your town, yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. You're yes, yeah. yes, yes. If you had not corrected me, I would also be calling your town the wrong thing too.
Correct. But otherwise, it was a good time. It is definitely, if you are paranormal, witchy, vampire-y, any sort of
spooky vibes,
that is definitely where you want to go as well. There were authors there without spooky vibes, and they did sell books, so it's not, absolutely critical.
Yeah, you had a couple of non-spooky, non-paranormal clients in attendance.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But if you do have that element, you're probably going to sell better, just because everybody was really into it. People were dressing up like they had like witches' hats.
Happening in September. Yes. It's adjacent to Salem.
Correct.
It's a whole vibe.
It's a whole vibe. There was a whole like witches' ball.
Fun.
People were dressing up, had like ball gowns on, tiaras, like they looked like they had a really great time. At the witches' ball, there was a DJ, cake. There was actually food too. I went to dinner before that, so I wasn't hungry, but I did have cake. But yeah,
sounds like a good reader experience.
Great reader experience. Everybody was really friendly. And so there was a lot of readers.
I love that because I've been to some events where people are really standoffish and it's like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
There was
I guess I'll just mind my own business.
I think because of the newness for everybody, for not everybody, but a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Really made it a welcoming environment too. So there was a lot of people who came that this was their first signing as a reader too.
Yeah.
So there was new readers, new authors, and the people who have been to a lot of signings, were really kind to them. And it gave me like Taylor Swift concert vibes. Everybody was really friendly and really welcoming. I didn't see any sort of like crazy.
This has nothing to do with anything.
What?
But I saw on the TikTok that Taylor Swift and Sophie Turner went to dinner together
I know. And frankly, that is just iconic.
Why can I not stop talking about Taylor Swift? I'm not a Swiftie, I swear to God.
Yes, you are. I am too. It's fine. That was iconic. That was an iconic move. It just truly Mr. Perfectly Fine. I mean,
wish I had an ex who was famous enough so that I could have dinner with Taylor Swift. Like, that's where I'm at, okay? Like, I have Sophie Turner jealousy. But anyway, continue about the signing. I could not. The signing was a Taylor Swift concert. Continue!
Yeah, I mean, like, everybody was talking about how Taylor Swift concerts, they felt safe, they felt loved, they felt, good vibes and good energy. And it had that sort of same vibe. There was one girl who was walking in and you could just tell like she was very nervous. Like she was very nervous and she was all dressed up and she was like, is this where the signing is? And I was like, yeah, and she's like, what do I do? And I was like, you just go right in here. The table's right in there. Like you sign in, it's all good. Like you could tell she was just having a freak out. And it was just not everybody that was around me too. It's just like, it's going to be good. Like, you're going to have so much fun. Like, just really encouraging to her.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. But yeah, so I wanted to share these books because I picked up 3 books by authors I had not previously known.
Awesome.
And so I thought I'd just share them on here because, I liked The reason I purchased these books is because I either liked their vibe, I liked the book, or
You're
both.
trying to hit the New York Times bestseller list with your manic e-girl pixie erotica.
Yes. So this one is called Desirable. Look, it has like a foil cover.
Oh, that's hot.
By Nicole Sanchez. And the back has like foil on it too.
Hello.
I know. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hello. We're on YouTube. So this is Desirable. This arrangement just got complicated. I believe it's a billionaire fake marriage, fake relationship.
Yeah. Romance. So the gold foil is like a really nice touch, but also that's a hot cover.
It is. I really like, that's what I'm saying. I bought books that I liked the covers. I liked the vibe of the author. And also I would potentially read it. So this one is called Screwed by Tori Heat.
Okay.
And it is touted.
Is that fire?
Yes, it is touted. Well, there's actually like a skull. Hold on. I don't know if you can really see it. There's like a skull.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. I see it now. Yep.
I am fascinated to read this. It's dystopian. Okay.
Fun.
And sort of.
Although that feels like the times we are living in sometimes.
I know. It's apparently Handmaid's Tale-y dystopian, but with spice. And I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm interested to find out.
That is a combination. It's like, so my husband recently soaked a batch of watermelon in white tequila.
Okay.
And then sprinkled it with tahini, which is a combination I would not have thought to do. I can't eat watermelon, but that's a whole nother story. He tells me it's like the most amazing thing for the like end of summer. Like this was his thing. Okay, fine. So my husband's walking around with boozy watermelon. Good for him. But it's one of those things, right? Like you don't think to put these things together and then they work so beautifully. You get like obsessed with them. So maybe spicy Handmaid's Tale is like a whole new
genre
subgenre, right? Like,
and I'm
just make it a whole trope.
I'm thinking
the world is falling apart, but also it's really sexy while it's doing it.
Yeah, I think the Handmaid's Tale parts are more about like the sort of dystopian elements of society.
Got it.
So I'm interested to see how that works. And then this one is Meant to Be by MJ Mango.
Cute.
And it is also I believe, billionaire romance second chance. They meet at a costume party for singles. They have one night and then they end up getting back together. Like they don't see each other for a while.
Yeah.
And then they end up finding their way back to each other.
Love it.
And yeah, so I am interested.
Classic billionaire contempt.
Yes. So I do like me some billionaire romance.
Who doesn't love a billionaire hero? It's almost like a palate cleanser for me now. Yeah. Like
I know.
It's not the standard in contemporary. There are still plenty of heroes out there who can't crush you with their wallets, but also like it's just so popular.
It
adds that element of security to the fantasy, right? Like if he's a billionaire or she's a billionaire,
you can do anything.
There are no worries with regard to
the everyday things
the
that
real
everybody
life stress out of the way.
Right.
The unsexy stress of real life just doesn't exist.
And we're reading for an escape. So that's part of the element of escape. So, but yeah, so I'm excited to read those. And it was really nice meeting all those authors and
fun
getting it. Yeah.
Sounds like it was worth the trip.
Yeah, I definitely think it was worth the trip.
To Peabody.
All right, Veronica.
I'll never forget it.
Hit us with an evergreen marketing tip.
Okay. So you want to own as much data as you can. So you want to have as many things on your website as you possibly can. Okay. So stick with me. This is a little layered, right? If you use a link tree or a service like Linktree, this is where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Host it on your website. Don't use Linktree. Linktree is fine. This is no criticism of Linktree or of anyone who uses Linktree or a similar service. But you can literally replicate the same thing on your website so that all the traffic goes there instead of to a third-party service. And then if you are using any sort of integration with your website for advertising and data collection, such as a Meta Pixel, for example, you're going to have more information and data available for your audience refinements and things like that as you are advertising. So The general marketing tip is host as much as you can on your own website.
Use your freaking website. You pay for it already.
That's right. Put your whole bibliography on there. Set up your own store. Have your landing page that is just like a link tree. You can do it all there, and you should.
Yeah.
So that you own your data.
I love it. Yes, that is perfect and a very good tip that you should heed. So. Well, thank you for indulging me today, Veronica.
It was fun.
We'll have to do this again soon. So,
yes.
All right, outro
Once my
music.
blood pressure goes back to normal.